What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 160 of Value Town. I'm ChanManV, and joining me, of course, is Gaara. What's going on, brother? I said brother.
It's going great as always.
Good,
Always
good.
looking forward to the show. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Do you normally have a mirror behind you? I just noticed the mirror.
Yeah, I also just noticed it.
Okay, yeah, just make sure you're not.
It's kind of like a new room. I'm not familiar with all the stuff.
Dude, mirrors have been the demise of many streamers in the past. So be careful of that. No.
I'm gone soon.
You're gone soon. Okay. Well, I want to welcome our guest Tyler, joining the show again. It's been a little while, but good to see you.
It's been quite a while.
Yeah, hasn't? Oh, it wasn't too that. We had you at least last year on last year, I think, right?
Yeah, so it's been a good year, but time goes fast, so
yeah,
to be back again.
Yeah, absolutely. And you like straight off the HCT Bangkok tournament, so it's going to be awesome. Getting a chance to hear that, or just all about that and your experience over there. Any crazy times? Was it more fun during the event or after the event hours?
Both. Like when you have to compete, obviously you don't have time to hang out. But if you're one of those guys who lost early on day one, day two, then I'm pretty sure you had the amazing time.
That's true. I guess you didn't have as good a time then.
I had a great time the last day, so
yeah.
Kind of regret not booking like an extra week of vacation there.
Yeah. Okay. I've never been to Bangkok, so that'd be pretty cool to eventually go. But we'll get there. We'll get to that part actually of the show. We'll talk about HCT Bangkok as well as some of the other pro events. But there's some news from Blizzard in terms of hotfixes, changes for a keyword that's a little bit surprising. Some more giving away of packs and different ways of doing that right now. And so talk a little bit about that. And of course, Mekkatorque's Workshop is back with I think we only have like 2 cards this time. But keep sending those in. If you want to send in, any of your custom cards, do that at valuetown at chanmanv.tv. But I also want to remind you guys that this episode is sponsored by ZipRecruiter. If you're interested in looking for a job or actually trying to, post a job listing, you can check them out. We'll talk a little bit more about them a little bit later. And of course, hsreplay.net. Valuetown is an HS Replay thing. Just so people don't some people don't realize that yet, but just want to clarify that for folks that don't know that. But all right, let's start off the show with talking about our week in Hearthstone. Like what you guys been up to. I know, Tyler, you've been traveling a lot. Gaara, what you been up to? Just been laddering?
Yeah, pretty decent climbs. I had like very good win rates with Spellhunter. Got to a top 100 Asia and Europe and climbing NA as well.
That meme deck, man. That meme deck has legs, man. You got to give it to Spellhunter. It's like amazing how well it does in High Legend.
The secret is to win when you don't draw barns, I guess.
Yeah.
To get into High Legend with the deck.
Yeah. So are things normalized now? Like everything's back to normal?
Seems like it.
Somewhat, yeah.
Somewhat? Okay.
There seems to be some kind of change in the amount of like MMR we gain and we lose, but it's proportionate. So it seems that if you do well on ladder, you will climb. So I have no complaints. I think it should all work out normally in the end.
Okay.
And the hotfix of the 30 games you have to play, it's probably the best solution they could have come up with. I'm really happy about that one.
Yeah, for those not familiar with the hotfix, you might want to explain that. Like the 30 games, you have to win 30 games, right? Before
No, you have to play 30
just play 30
games.
games. Okay. So
when you're a legend.
Okay, so once you play 30 games in the Legend, then I guess it starts to kick in, the matchmaking part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're eligible to get points.
Yeah, and you're eligible to get points, right? So that's their way of kind of trying to fix the issues they had right in the very, very beginning of it. So that was definitely good. On top of that hotfix, we actually had a hotfix in Arena too, which was very timely given that we did an Arena episode last week. I feel like last week there was this wave of Arena stuff, whether it was on Reddit or and on our show too, and like a day after, maybe 2 days after, they decided to change just at least the Lich King, like some of the more powerful cards, right? Just what the frequency of them were. So haven't gotten a chance to look at the stats quite yet. I mean, we can maybe take a look at HS Replay while we're talking about this, but like I think last week we were talking about Lich King being like 9.5%, of like appearing in 9.5%. So yeah, they obviously are going to lower that, which is going to be cool. So we'll see how that, at least how the arena community reacts to that soon. But have you guys gotten a chance to play the Starcraft Brawl? You know, with the
I haven't. I've been so busy.
yeah. Make
I
sure
just
you
haven't
get it
had time
in
to
so you
play
can get the
anything.
3 packs. You just got to win one time. You get 3
Oh yeah,
KNC
for sure.
packs. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Free
Gar,
packs are always good.
yeah, free packs definitely. Gar, you tried out at all?
No, I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, it's
I know it was today.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, obviously I'm a big StarCraft fan too, so it's kind of cool that there's an homage to it, and it's pretty simple. It's like it's not that different than some of the Tavern balls we've seen in the past, but basically in the very beginning of the game, you get to choose like one of these tech or which type of portals that you want, and then you get these cards that cost 1 mana in your hand. And then they just give you like different types of cards. Like, so the tech is like the Terran, Mind is Protoss, and Swarm, or the Zerg is, or the Swarm is the Zerg. So it's kind of random, of course, but it's kind of cool. It's just that has that kind of theme. But yeah, definitely play that, guys, because if you win one time, you get 3 free KNC packs. So take advantage of that if you want to. Also, they announced today that March 26th, starting in 5 days, when the card reveals start, you'll receive a free pack for every daily quest you finish. So that's pretty nice too.
Well, that's a lot of packs.
Yeah, and you be sure to save up your first, like on the very first time. Make sure you have 3 quests available, not like just one, because I think you get them for all 3. Like, it's not limited to 1 a day. So that first day you could get 3. I think is how it works. So
Oh, that would be insane.
yeah. Make sure you do that too. Like. And I think that lasts for 2 weeks too. So, 14 plus 2, so you can get like up to 16 packs, I believe. It's pretty sweet. Definitely good. Let's see, what else was there? Oh, Ben did that that Q&A, right, Gaara, that you were mentioning on what site was it on again? It was
On YouTube by Wired.
The Wired, right. Yeah, Wired.
Yeah, it's a big channel.
Yeah. So did you get a lot out of that interview at all?
I mean,
Anything cool?
I knew most of the stuff because I was like at the Blizzard HQ, and I followed like pretty much all the queues with Blizzard. Like the same questions come up all the time. It's just overall, I think the newest question was definitely if they're keeping an eye on the Cube Lock deck and the Demon Lock deck, because I think a lot of, especially pro players, were concerned about that, if Blizzard is paying attention to that archetype and that almost no card of that deck is rotating out with the next year's cycle. And Ben said they are, so can't say for sure what that means. They're like looking into it and paying attention to it, and we'll see. I mean, we can blame them then, right? if the deck is OP afterwards, I don't know, because they said they're looking into balance of the deck, and
I know I see some great questions right here. When will we see Pepe in Hearthstone? Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Of course, somebody has to ask that. And then why aren't there female kobolds? That's actually.
And then he said there is one.
Are there?
He said yes. You have to pay closer attention to it.
Really? I wonder what signifies a female kobold. There must be something that distinguishes them. Maybe chat knows. I have no idea how we could tell between them. All right. Well, anyways, go check that out, guys. It's on Wired. If you just go to their YouTube site, you can see this cool interview with Ben. Ben's always he's just made for video. This guy. I mean, he's like so camera friendly. It's like amazing. But check that out. We had a surprising developer's insight too. I was like, oh, cool, developer's insight. Let's check out what this is. And it talked about the enraged keyword. So, did you guys see that? Like how they're just removing the enraged keyword?
Oh, it's very enraged.
I actually don't know about it. What is it exactly?
Yeah, they're removing the enraged keyword. They're just going to go back to using like a more verbose version of it. Like when damaged plus 3 attack, whatever it is, right? So, yeah, that was interesting. I'm not sure why they decided to do that. I mean, I don't think anybody was complaining.
The explanation from them was that they're not doing too much with that mechanic. It's a very old mechanic, and they don't plan to implement more minions with that mechanic, the enrage mechanic. so they're just gonna change the existing cards to, if your minion is damaged, get +3 attack.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, it's not like a big deal at all, but I'm just surprised that they would take even the time to do that.
Yeah,
you know, it's
another
like,
explanation was that every like of these effects
Mhm.
are usually like very special, like discover, what is it?
plus damage,
Discover,
probably.
taunt, lifesteal. They're usually like very like a cool tribe or whatever. And Enrage was like also one of these tribes, but it was kind of like an old mechanic, and they don't want to implement new cards, right?
Mhm.
So
Okay.
they want to change it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just more surprising than anything else. It's like, yeah, you know, does it matter? In the end, it doesn't matter at all. It's not a big deal. I guess it's good. It's good to know that they're willing to change
Oh.
stuff. You know.
Yeah, they
really
also
good.
said that it's easier to learn. Like if you're a new player,
Yeah.
and if you just read what it does, and you have to learn what Enrage is, like, I guess it's like a little bit easier.
I guess so. Yeah. So that should be happening soon too. So the days of angry chicken having Enrage, or even Worgen right here, you know, we'll go back to having all these words on it. It's not that big a deal, but the biggest news there is, I guess, that they're not going to be doing any more Enrage type of mechanics. It's kind of sad for like Warriors, right? Warriors have like the perfect mechanics for Enrage. So it's a little bit sad there.
If they do, it will be if the minion is damaged, get +2 attack.
Right. True. Let's see. Next thing. Why don't we just jump into the HCT talk? I mean, there's definitely several things to talk about there. And you know, Tyler, we talked about you going to Bangkok. So event wise, how did you like the event? I mean, was the playing field super competitive? How was it organized, et cetera, et cetera?
It was super stacked. All these events have been super stacked. A lot of teams are investing lots of money to send their players to all these events. Surprisingly to me, because like at the end of the day, the EV you get, the expected value you get from going to these events is not that high, right? For example, I finished 24th and I got 4 HCT points. I do it for the HCT points because it qualifies me for prelims, etc., etc. And I think I got like $100 or something for finishing 24th. But it seems spending like $700 or something on a flight and then hotel costs and everything. I didn't expect so many organizations to send all these players to all these events, so that's very surprising for me this year at least. But as a result, it's very stacked.
Yeah. Is it only big teams sending it, or I mean, are you seeing people across the board? Did you actually have any friends or any players that you know pay their own way to Bangkok? Because that's a long ways.
A lot of players actually also paid it for themselves. For example, one guy in my practice group, Viper, who's like a really good player, he paid for everything himself. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure there were a lot more other players who also did that. I'm not sure about all the APEC players, because obviously there were a lot of them there as well. But for them, it's a bit cheaper, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just surprised that
just that so many people were there.
Players.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Like I think that it'll be interesting to see how it compares to Oslo, because Oslo is much closer to a lot of, you know, just Europeans. It's not that long of a trip. But I have this feeling there might be more people at Bangkok than there might at Oslo, surprisingly. It's kind of odd. But Oslo is this week, by the way, so it's kind of a back-to-back events for a lot of the players, including Tyler. You're going to be at Oslo, right?
I'm going to be at Oslo, yeah. Leaving this Friday, so I have 2 days rest now.
Crazy, man. The grind is real. How are you going to get laddering in there? Just
we ladder while we're there.
Well, I saw that, but that was not your account, right? That was
like at some point when you're at the venue, and for example, I have like an iPad with me, so I play ladder, and then sometimes when you face me on ladder while I'm at the event, you can assume that there's like 10 to 20 other pro players helping me out.
It's impossible to
really
beat
funny.
you, basically.
Yeah, it's actually really funny.
Okay, that's cool. So what are you right now on the ladder? Actually,
I'm like top 100 on one server and then pretty dumpster on the others. But
okay, yeah,
we have like 10 more days.
Yeah, 10 more days. You still got some time, right? It's usually well, I don't know. Do you guys need to start? Actually, Gaara, what are you at now, or what rank are you at right now?
2 servers at around 200.
Okay.
But I'm playing all free servers. I thought Tyler would also play on free servers, so I might actually be the only player who plays on free. Like, I'm actually trying on all free to get high.
No, that's cool.
I mean, I would have normally played on 3 servers. I think I would have done it this month, but I tanked my rank because of the server bug at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So I was playing when the ladder wasn't working, so I dropped all the way to like rank 7,000 or something.
Oh man!
And it's almost impossible to get back up, so I kind of gave up on that one. But I do think I will start going play 3 servers next month.
So what's the meta for that now? Are you guys going hard right now, or are you gonna wait until like a week out, or I forget when?
It's changed that it's like almost impossible to not play on the last day. You kind of want to get yourself into a good position.
Mm-hmm.
The best would be be into top 20 or top 10 on 2 days before season ends. I think this is what everyone is trying. If you achieve that, you're in a good spot. If not, you go for like around top 100, and then you have to play 24 hours.
Yeah, like, so people say all the time, the only thing that matters is the last few days of ladder, which is true. Like, the last few days are the most important ones, but you want to be putting yourself in the best position possible going into the last few days. So someone who's top 20 with 3 days left is going to have a higher chance to finish top 20 than someone who's like 500 or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the person who's 500 will need a higher win rate to get there in the last couple of 3 days. So at the end of the day, you want to put yourself in the best position possible and be high ranked near the end. So yeah, we're constantly playing.
Yeah, so even 10 days out, you're just like grinding it hard, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, okay. This is
also, like, regarding that, you can really see an exponential growth in the competitive scene in Europe compared to the other regions. Like this month, like I think Thijs mentioned it as well, it's expected that you need around 30 points to qualify for preliminaries in Europe, and it's around 20 points in America. So it's now a 10-point difference, which is like 50% more points. And that is not just 50%. Like, these extra points are so much more difficult to get than just 50% points in general. Like 10% points in general are not difficult to get, but 10% extra, like 50% extra points, because you don't have tournaments or cups or anything. It's so hard. Like, Europe is so stacked. It's insane, and it grows, you know? Like, we see really an uptrend. I don't know what they're gonna do. They have to maybe like split Europe in 2 regions. I think the biggest problem we have in Europe is that Russia is part of Europe, and there's a lot of Russian players. Like, it's almost like an own continent. It's crazy. It's just the competition is too much. I think it's too hard.
Wow, that'd be interesting if they split it into 2 regions. Or
just up the players in Europe, you know, that instead of 64, 128 or so can go to the prelims.
Right. Okay. That's
at least in Europe. It's just really super stacked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree that it's insanely stacked. It's support. Well, what finish do you need now, Gaara, to actually expect to make it?
I mean, expectation is around. So I think around top 100.
Yeah.
I think I have 21 points in it. You probably need around 30. So I guess 9 points would be top 100. That's what is expected.
Is that
which is crazy to think about, just to get to prelims? 30 points. 30
points.
That's
the bare 30 points. And that's the bare minimum, right? Are you gonna reach that even? Yeah.
The bare minimum to get to prelims. It's just prelims is not like a super achievement or anything. Just to get to prelims in Europe, you need 30 points. In America, this is like some of the top earners have 30 points. 20 points is a huge difference. It's really crazy. Like, everyone can you imagine, like, everyone who has around 20 points in Europe right now would make it to NA prelims already. There's like 200 people in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happened last year too, right? We saw the same. Yeah, we saw the cutoff much higher in Europe.
But it was around 6 points difference, which was insane last year. But now it's around 10 points, and you have less ways to get points.
That's crazy.
It's really like exponential growth. It's
okay, well, that definitely makes sense as to why everybody's playing NA as well, or just
this way. Maybe so many go to these tour stops as one in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Europeans go because you gotta get those points.
Yeah, so Tyler, you've definitely been pretty consistent with your finishes. This especially this year and even towards the end of last year. And, like last year, in the beginning of it was like when you were first starting to go to events. Like I kind of remember when you were, just beginning this. So at this point, you're having these consistent finishes. You finished 24th this time. How are you feeling about HCT? Like, you feel like you're poised to win one? Like, if you can just get hot at one of these things, or do you still think that, you're still trying to get more experienced, at a lot of these live events and still on the way to kind of getting to be one of these seasoned players?
I think I just need to get one of my lucky streak at some point. There's definitely been tournaments where I brought bad lineups, and there have been tournaments where I brought really good lineups.
Yeah.
And I've definitely gotten better at it. Also with just working a lot with my teammates, Casey. This time I worked a lot with Casey, my teammate, and he's really good at what he does. And I was really happy this time about my lineup, and I finished 24th. And I just hated the format. I hated it was double elimination.
Right. Oh, it was double elimination. Like I was about to say that. Like I can't believe they didn't do Swiss, because Swiss is like the standard these days, right? Like
it is. And I was also like I just assumed it was Swiss going in, like when we were doing the prep work, and then I asked Casey and was like, wait, is the format actually Swiss? And I was like, nope, double elimination. And that just hurts, because whenever you lose your first match and you fall down to the lower bracket, it basically means you have to win two matches instead of one for every time you lost. And so in order to advance one round, you have to win 2 matches instead of 1 on the upper bracket. And that just hurts a lot, because in the end, people who finished the entire tournament on top 4, for example, Cray, my teammate, which I'm really happy that he finished it.
Yeah.
Of course, like we take those. But he ended up the tournament with a 5-2 score, and I ended up 24th place with a 6-2 score, and then Casey ended top 16 with a 8-2 score. Wow. And then the argument is obviously, well, if you fall to the lower bracket, you get easier opponents, but that's not necessarily true. Like,
right.
It's marginal, very marginal.
Especially Hearthstone at this level too. I mean, it's we're not talking that where it's like, you're playing like the 128th seed who's like this qualifier who's terrible, No, you're playing like another pro player who's, it could be just having a bad day like yourself, that sort of thing. So
I can't believe that 4 years in we still have like super bad formats.
Yeah.
Do you know that WECG was the same? There were like 4-man groups with round robin instead of double elimination, and that means that at least 50% of the groups will have tiebreakers. It's so bad. Like round robin with 4 people is just horrible. If 3 people go 3-1, you have tiebreakers.
Yeah, but true. But I still think it's better than double really M, though. I still think that.
No, if you have 4-man groups, then double LM is the way to go.
Oh, in the groups, sure. But I'm just saying, like an overall tournament being double M.
No,
I would
that's
take
horrible.
the groups. I would
it's
take
horrific.
the groups.
Everyone knows it
over that.
And we still have so many qualifiers and tournaments. I don't get it. Like, how is that possible?
Yeah. What was the bracket size again, Tyler? It was 128. Is that right?
No, it was 256.
Yeah, like I don't even think it's more efficient to do double M.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, so I don't know why they would have. I don't even understand the reason for choosing double M.
Yeah, I still don't know why they.
Yeah.
It's because like this event is officially the Thai major that they have been doing for years, and they have always been doing it double LM, and I don't know, for some reason they just wanted to stick to that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. Well. It's pretty brutal for the players that travel that far. They only play two matches too. That would be really, really harsh to fall in. So thankfully you weren't there. Yeah, thankfully you got a chance to play 8 games there and had a pretty good run. How was the meta? How did your meta end up matching up? Like we're gonna take a look at this Mage deck that you were like a bit disappointed because you were so proud of this Mage deck but didn't get any airtime. But overall, like, what do you think the meta was and how you matched up against it?
I think we had like a really good read on the tournament meta, and it's very interesting this year because we have so many tournaments back to back with the same expansion. Mm-hmm. For example, last year we didn't have that. For example, last year the only relevant tournament really was the HCT, like the HCT qualifiers, the preliminaries, and that was once every 3 months. And then we would have DreamHacks in between, but DreamHack would have been a different format. It was Last Hero Standing, and HCT was Conquest. So last year, we didn't have this this hype where the next tournament would counter the previous tournament meta, and now you're seeing it a lot with all the tour subs, and there's like so many of them, and all the online qualifiers, and you just keep seeing that people react to the previous meta, and that happened again in Bangkok where some players would straight up copy the best lineup from the previous tournament from HCT Toronto, and then there were some players who would try and counter that, and then there was like the group of players that would go next level and counter both of those. And that's what we kind of tried to do. And I think we had like a really good lineup going in. And to be fair, I think I could have won my last year's as well and like made top 16. So that was kind of sad.
Oh, really?
But
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, it sounds like at least you had a pretty good read on what was going to be there.
Yeah.
And let's take a look at this Mage deck, because this Mage deck is pretty interesting. It's got a couple of cards that really stand out here, but you know, it's definitely the kind of big mage, or the kind of big spell mage. But we have like Bright-Eyed Scout in this, as well as the Basilisk too, the Stone Skin Basilisk. So talk about those two cards.
The key card in this deck was the Stone Skin Basilisk. What we were trying to do is we knew for sure that everyone was going to bring both Priest and both Warlock. So our plan was to ban the most aggressive deck, and then because since it's Conquest, if you have decks that completely destroy Priest and Warlock, then you easily get all your decks through. So we had Miracle Rogue, which really destroys the Priest. And then we were trying to find a fourth deck that could also beat Priest and Warlock. And that was really hard. We spent, I think, about a week trying to figure it out, and we just couldn't find it. And then at some point, we were just like messing around, and Viper came up with the idea of trying Stone Skin Basilisk. Well, this guy, if you play it on turn 3, it destroys every single minion. It destroys a Mountain Giant from the Warlock, and it actually just destroys 2 minions from the Priest. So what ended up happening a lot this tournament is that we actually 3-0'd every single Priest. Priest just couldn't beat our lineup, and you know that everyone plays Priest, so yeah, it worked out really fine. At some point, I was just multiple times I was also just 2-0 behind, and then I just 3-0'd the guy's Priest, and then he was like, I don't know if he realized that our lineup was designed to beat his Priest, or if he thinks he was really unlucky, but I 3-0'd a lot of Priest. Yeah,
that's awesome. I mean, I don't think anybody would guess that this card would have been so effective against some of the top decks. And that's what's so great about deck building. And again, like always, you know, measuring each card equally, you know, like not just writing off cards. You know, I think it's always good to review them again, you know, or take another look at the collection again, like every so often. So Bright-Eyed Scout, what were some of the big hits from that? Like, what were you trying to really nail here?
The thing is, like, with our lineup, we just can't accept it that we lost to super aggressive lineups anyways. Like, we can ban one aggressive deck, but this Mage deck wasn't designed to beat aggressive decks. So we cut, like, all the healing. We cut Arcane Artificer, we cut Alexstrasza, and the Bright-Eyed Scout was just a good card on 4 because we played the Basilisk on 3, played Bright-Eyed Scout on 4, and there's, like, nearly not any misses, right? Even if you hit like any of the 6 mana cards or the 7 mana cards, you're still fine. You draw a card and you discount it for a bit. And once in a while you get like a super high roll, and you I had one game where I went Stone Skin Basilisk, my opponent just passed, couldn't do anything, and then I went Bright-Eyed Scout into Frostless Chain and then just won the game.
Just won the game.
Yeah,
I think getting, you know, Frostless Chain and Water Elemental starting at turn 5 is pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty amazing. Okay, well, this is really, I mean, this is definitely the type of decks I love to see whenever, you know, we're talking about, you know, just pro events. The Raven Familiar too, like anything. Well, I guess that's been obviously run a lot just in the recent iterations. Yeah. Baron's in here. Like, we haven't seen Baron in a while, right? As the kind of Reno Jackson of this, you know, Frostless Chain type of thing. Yeah. Is it used pretty much the same way, just to get you like a
same way? It's just like a lot of extra heal. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And it helped against the Dude Paladin also.
Yeah. Gar, any comments on this deck? Anything that you see that's really cool?
It's very greedy.
That's the theme. That's the theme of the meta right now. It's like, it's like how greedy can you get, until the whole meta just completely shifts on you, right?
This list screams Casey all over the place. Casey likes greed.
Yeah,
a lot.
He does. Yeah. But yeah, the plan was to ban the most aggressive deck, and we knew that everyone was gonna have Warlock and Priest in their lineup. No one in their right mind would not. So yeah, it worked out fine for us. It's actually quite sad because both Casey and I through our last years, like we played it suboptimal. I think Casey would have been able to advance to top 8, and I would have been able to advance to at least top 16. Yeah, and then because we were also 2 of the 9 players who brought Miracle Rogue, and we did well with that. My Miracle Rogue actually went undefeated, like 5-0.
Nice. That's why
That's why
I
because
saw
of the
expected
expected
over the weekend. That makes sense. Yeah, so I think that so Sindragosa. Any big hits with Sindragosa during your matches?
Oh my god, I got a Murabi out of Sindragosa.
Okay, all right.
And I didn't know how it worked, so I ordered it wrong, and then did
that cost you?
First,
No,
it didn't cost me the
Okay,
game,
I was
luckily.
gonna
But
say,
I froze his minion first. It was against Spiteful Druid, and I had a Water Elena board. I froze his Grand Archivist.
Yeah.
And then I played Marabi, and I was like, okay, where's my Grand Archivist? But it didn't quite work that way. Yeah, and I even had people behind me laughing at me. But
yeah, I've done that too. So I hear you. I totally hear you on that one. All right. Well, I think that this mage is definitely really cool. Every time I would flip on HCT Bangkok, there would be a player that brought Murloc Paladin, and it would be like the first game of the series, and I just found them playing it over and over just to try to get a win, because it was by far the weakest deck, I think, in the tournament. Yeah. So you saw these guys just regretting bringing it and trying to win it like right from the get go and like 3 straight. So it was pretty brutal for the Murloc Paladins out there. And I guess that's true across the board, right? It's one of these things where you see the difference in events, where the Murloc Paladin does super well in ladder, at least for, maybe not the very top of Legend, but definitely just right under, and obviously in ranks 1 through 5. But in the events, it's like one of the worst ones, right? Like that people are bringing. Yeah. It's
just that the tournament meta shifts so much every single time, and if you get too predictable, you can lose very early on. That's how it is right now.
I saw a tweet from Frozen like the other night. It wasn't last night, maybe the night before. And he was just saying how he thinks that the meta right now is requires the highest skill cap, and, is kind of like really in a really good place from the standpoint of that in terms of competitive Hearthstone. Do you guys agree with that statement?
I like the tweet, so I agree with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been pretty hard. I think it's pretty rewarding if you have good preparation right now for tournament meta, at least.
What's your favorite matchup right now? Like, which matchup do you just love playing against in terms of skill and the challenge?
I've seen people struggle a lot in the Cube Lock Mirror. I think that's a very hard matchup, and I think a lot of people disagree on a lot of stuff still.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Even among pro players. When I was in Bangkok, there was like a discussion between what do you cube as in the cube block mirror.
Oh.
And one guy was like, you always go for cubing the Doom Guards and go for pressure. And the other guy was like, you never cube the Doom Guard, you always cube the Void Lords, and if you get more Void Lords, you always win. So stuff like that. Even among the pro players, they disagree about it a lot.
Wow.
And personally, I think you try to cube a lot of Void Lords every time. I don't think cubing Doom Gods wins you games often enough anymore. But
just the Great
so
Wall.
it's a very, very interesting things.
That's good. I mean, when you have a divide in what people think is right, that's a good sign. That means, like the meta hasn't been figured out yet, and that's always a great place.
And even all the matchups haven't been figured out, so.
And then when you start playing mage decks like that, it's even harder to like.
Really what happened with me is that a lot of people didn't know what to ban. Like a lot of people would ban wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because they were so confused by the lineup and didn't knew exactly what I was trying to do. So yeah, that's fun.
Keeping them on their toes, that's even better too. Like when they're a little confused going into the match, that's just that slight advantage you need.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Bangkok's over, so congratulations to Shanghai, by the way, for winning. Huge win for him, and Crane made it really far too. I was like rooting for him, but I think that was still a good amount of points for him, so that was really great. We had a challengers finals too, Gaara. Like you were like kind of keeping me updated on that, and Fujitora has been having a great little run here. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
He won WECG,
Yeah.
which was 150,000.
Crazy.
I don't know how big the stream was, but usually the Chinese tournaments get only like very few viewers, even though this is like the second biggest tournament besides now Trinity and the Worlds in terms of prize pool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like huge in terms of prize pool. Usually the Chinese tournaments all have like insane prize pools, giving away Ferraris and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I know Fujitora since the beginning. He's like very low key. Like he's like like semi-pro. I don't know if he's like full pro. A lot of people don't make enough to be full pro, and winning 150K is insane. That's like Archon Team League was 150K, but split for 3 players. It's like, and that was like one of the biggest tournaments ever. So you can imagine like winning yourself 150K. That's absolutely insane. And Fujitora won. It's like a player from Turkey.
Yeah.
And, pretty bad tournament format. WCG is going on since October, I believe. Every region had their own qualifiers. I think Dog and Frozen were there as well from the known players. Not so many known people actually qualified for that tournament. I think Dog and Frozen were like the 2 most famous one. I was helping out like Luffy. I don't know if he's like that known.
Luffy?
And
people, at least in the competitive scene, know Luffy pretty well. They've been following the competitive scene for a while.
Yeah, so Fujitora won that. A little bit of drama apparently with him and Lurker. But yeah, crazy run. But while he was at the airport or something, he played the Challenger finals because he qualified for that as well. He actually won the very first Challenger qualifier. He won the very first tournament. And he got into the finals of the Challenger qualifier, of all the finalists. Like, only people that won a Challenger Cup played in that tournament.
Right.
And he got, like, into the finals of that, and he lost the finals.
Oh, he lost? I thought he won the finals for some reason.
Because it was 8 a.m. in the morning or something for him.
Okay.
Like, he played the whole night, and before that, he won WCG, and he still managed to get into the finals. It's actually crazy. And it's super hard, and it is best of 3. Best of 3 conquest is super hard. Like if you do any mistake, like if you open the wrong deck, like with 3 decks, like you get punished so hard, especially in conquest.
Wait, so how far did you have to get in that tournament to make it to HCT?
There were like 2 qualifiers in total for all 3 regions, so it's 6 tournaments in total. Every region had 2 tournaments, and you had to. So there's like 500 people for every region, around 500 people. Then you had to get into top 8. And then there was another bracket of the 16 players, and from those 16 players, I think only 4 also make it. So it's
wow.
And those go to prelims. It's brutal. Super brutal, and all of them already won. Like you had to win a Challenger Cup. Either top 2, depending on how many people played in it, top 2 or win. It's like you know how hard it was with the Open Cups. Like, but you had to win one. So all these winners played, and only top 4. It's super hard. And Fujitora almost made it for that as well. It's so crazy. Like he's really on a run. I don't know. It's back to back.
Yeah, we see these type of runs every once in a while. So we saw with Pavel at one point. Saw it. I mean, Tice in the past too. So it'll be interesting if Fujitora kind of leads to the HCT event. Is he going to Oslo? Does anybody know? Like, I wonder if he's going to be doing that run.
I hope his team sends him if he wants to go.
That'd be pretty good to see if he can continue that. HCT Oslo is coming up here. So Tyler, have you even had a chance to really start prepping for that, or that's pretty much what you're going to be spending because I think you have to get decks in by tonight, right? A little bit of drama there, right?
Yeah, it was a little bit drama. Like I got my decks in yesterday at midnight, so that's exactly 22 hours ago. And then after that, there seemed to be some trouble where some people couldn't submit the deck list.
Man.
Yeah, so they actually extended the submission deadline by 24 hours, which is exactly 2 hours from this point. But what happened is that a lot of players actually already tweeted out their lineup and stuff, and that changes everything. And it's kind of a huge mess right now.
Yeah. That's. I'm not sure what to learn, but like, I wonder if the players will just not tweet their lineups anymore until maybe a few more days after the deadline, just moving forward. Because I could see this kind of thing happening again, unfortunately. But yeah, it's so unfair to the people that tweeted it, right? Like, or the people that actually got their decks in. Because now they're.
I mean, I'm personally the type that doesn't tweet it. Like, I'm kind of paranoid like that. Like, I'm very cautious. So I'm like, I'll just wait, and no reason to tweet it early. That's what I do. But I can definitely feel bad for the people who did, because it's not their fault, right? At the end of the day.
So yeah, I mean, just to clarify that, the people that revealed their lineups, I mean, they're not completely, at a disadvantage because they weren't allowed to resubmit. I think they're officially allowed to resubmit again, but like we were talking before the show, they're still screwed, right? Because they put in all this work to get their lineup, and now it's basically been ruined. So it's like you have to make that decision. Do I just go with what was there before, all the work that I've prepped for, or do I have to like try to start over in 24 hours, which is very, very difficult to do.
Yeah, there's two things that can happen, right? Either you're worried about people just basically freeloading of you, like you've been working for like a week on your lineup, and now everyone can just copy it if they want.
Mm-hmm.
That's like reason number one, and reason number two is that the meta might just change completely because people have seen, what all the pro players are bringing, so the meta might adjust because of that.
Yeah. So, so you've already resubmitted? Like, what do you think?
I haven't resubmitted. I still have like my original lineup, and I've been screwed by it too, because like the entire day I've been like trying to figure out if I should be changing something or not, and I'm getting very paranoid of it, and I still don't know what I should be doing. And then after this show that we're having, I'm probably gonna spend like the last half hour or so making sure I have exactly what I want. But
Okay. Yeah, we won't pry.
It's definitely
pry any more out of you for sure. We definitely want to give you the best chance to win at Oslo. So looking forward to that. So after Oslo, is that the last one for this first? What are we calling it? Season? I forget what we're calling each of the winter. Is it winter?
It's winter, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so, I guess you call it a season.
Yeah. So Oslo is the last one for this winter. Maybe there's like one more in.
No, we just have Oslo and Ladder, right?
Okay.
That's what we have.
All right, yeah, and then we'll round things out, I think, in May, right? And we'll have the kind of season finals there. So excited to see where that. Do we know where the location the season finals is going to be at? Is it going to be in Australia? Or do we know yet? Did they announce the location yet for the?
I don't think so, right?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, we have to play the prelims first.
Yeah, but still, like, I mean, they could have the location though. Like,
I mean, that would be super early.
Yeah. But anyways, so it's going to be a pretty exciting April. And on top of, obviously the expansion and everything coming out too, it's going to be a wild time in the coming month. But HCT guys, this is where it starts picking up, and I can't wait to see. I really want to see how the team thing like pans out too at the end of the season. We'll finally get to see what the actual rankings are for it and things like that.
Yeah, like winter was a little bit of a trial run, right? Because our points, the team points actually don't matter, and then it's gonna start mattering next month.
Yep.
But it's definitely very interesting to see how all the teams are doing, and a lot of like teams you like I didn't have on my radar earlier, or like picking up players left and right and getting lots of points. So it's definitely going to be a very, very stacked field of teams, I think, fighting for it next month.
You see a small team like really ranking up high and competing there, like a non-big name, because I don't know how many big name teams there really are right now. Outside of like 4 or 5 of them, right? Maybe more like six or 7 of them. And then there's
so I can look it up for you really quick.
Okay, sure. I mean, I can name, right? Like we got Tempo, we got GT, of course, Complexity. I'm having like let's see. I know FTK has a team, and then the team that Sidonia and Mitsu are on. What I forget the name of them.
Red Velvet.
Yep. and then Dr. J and them are on that, and Ant are on the Norwegians and that Norwegian side. What?
Yeah, so like the Norwegian team with Hunter Ace,
what's the name?
Nordavind.
Yeah, Nordavind, right?
Yeah. So they would be number 1 in points right now after the first season
Really?
if this one counted.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Fate 2 Karma would actually be the second team right now.
That's right.
And it's very stacked. But then you also have like a couple of French teams. Like you have Arma team with Odemian who won the thing. So like they would be the third right now.
Yeah,
So
Odemian's
there's,
on
like,
fire too. Yeah.
A lot of teams that are getting lots of points.
That's exciting, man. I think it's a great time to be picking up players. Like, we've still got so many amazing players, pro players right now that aren't on teams. People are picking up on it, so the teams are getting to snag it. But teams like, FTK and some of these other teams that we just talked about, like, they've had the first pick of the litter, because they're kind of first to react to this outside of the ones that we already know of, like big brands we already know of. So, some other teams are thinking about getting in. You should get into Hearthstone right now and support some of these players because they could be superstars by the end of this year. Who knows?
Yeah, it's interesting though, because there's definitely a lot of unsigned players still, and there's also like a lot of them who don't have teams and just like play the game part-time while having a job and stuff and are actually really good at the game. Like if I had the money to like start a team, like I would be able to make like a really good team for pretty cheap, I'm pretty sure. Like, but I'm not gonna like
But paying for all those trips, would that even be worth it though? Man, it's expensive paying for that. But
that's the question, right? If it's gonna be worth it at the end of the day or not. Because like I don't know how long this will last, like how long teams will find it worth it to send all these players to all these events. I hope that it keeps growing and hope that the team thing really becomes a thing and that it stays worth it for all these teams to invest in the players. Yeah, it's ultimately is really good, right, for everyone.
Blizzard just has to make $1 million prize for the team, the team competition.
Yeah.
That's all it takes, right? And then everybody will be in it. Totally. Okay, well, why don't we move on? And before we do move on, I do want to remind everybody this episode is sponsored by ZipRecruiter. And if you're not familiar with ZipRecruiter, it is a recruiting job site. And if you're tired of, having to, if you're looking for somebody, for your company and have to scour like all these different job sites and have to like go to each one of them, then ZipRecruiter is going to be perfect for you because it kind of aggregates everything for you into one site. So, the great thing about ZipRecruiter is 80% of employers that actually use the ZipRecruiter end up finding a quality candidate for their, just for whatever job that they're looking for. So, right now, there's this awesome promotion that for the folks that watch or listen to ValueTown, you can go to ziprecruiter.com/ValueTown and actually use the site for free. And, I've definitely checked it out. I think it's like, compared to other sites I've been on, it's definitely great. Just because, again, like you can basically view the postings and jobs from like 20, 30 different sites just from ZipRecruiter. So, definitely check that out. And again, thanks to ZipRecruiter for, sponsoring the show. And it's ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire is their slogan. So seems pretty smart to me to use ZipRecruiter. Okay, well, why don't we move on to Mekkatorque's workshop? So we've actually got a couple cards from Raydan, and we actually have a couple other cards too that we received this week. But I kind of like, for the sake of kind of keeping it refined. I know a lot of you guys always comment me and get annoyed whenever there's like little typos and things, like in the card names. So I just want to make sure that I kind of sent emails to the folks that did submit them, the cards that I think are pretty interesting that we want to show, just to kind of refine them a little bit, and then we'll show them in a future week. But here's an example of one that's like a new quest for a rogue. So we got Assassin's Game. It's a legend quest. Kill 20 minions. So like pretty simple quest. Just kill 20 minions. Reward Fang of the Devourer. And then Fang of the Devourer is basically a weapon that just makes your hero just have poisons. So you can just basically kill stuff in one hit. So what do you guys think of a quest that's just kill 20 minions? Because it sounds like that's easy, but that might not actually be that easy to do early
do
on.
that against
right?
decks like Quest Mage.
Yeah.
Do decks even run 20? Which decks do you even run 20
Well,
minions?
like
Almost
Silverhand,
nothing.
right? Like the Paladins definitely do, right?
Spiteful decks.
Spiteful, or even just, I mean, the heroes that have hero powers that generate minions. I mean, that's going to add to it too. So I don't know. Is 20 a pretty decent number? You don't want to make it easy, right? So
Yeah, but a lot of the archetypes don't have minion-based strategies, or don't even
yeah,
have 20 minions. Then you can't complete the quest. It's
Right.
inconsistent. So let's say you face a Quest Mage. The
Mhm.
Quest Mage will play like 6 minions. How you gonna
Yeah.
complete the quest?
yeah.
Never.
Well,
And what do? Play Leroy? Leroy plus Battlecry, give your opponent 4 minions to kill it?
well, if you're playing this quest, you're probably doing something. You're probably in a control type of rogue. So
Yeah, you would play like removal rogue, like to Wild Spines, maybe to assassinate, Fan of Nice, I don't know, like
Yeah.
something. Because that's your win condition. You play Fang Devourer and then you kill your opponent.
you're just gonna lose the freeze mage anyways. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have mattered whatever you did if you're playing control rogue.
But you can't complete the quest.
Yeah.
It's definitely a very interesting concept. I don't think it works just on its own. I don't think any deck has 20 minions you can kill. And if with that in mind, like if you are able to kill 20 minions, most of the time you probably already won the game, because like
Yeah.
how do you kill 20 minions? Basically, you killed the entire deck already.
Right.
But I think the idea is cool. Like the number could probably go lower.
Mhm.
And then you would need still a lot of cards to support it. For example, like some kind of card that would summon your opponent's minions, like Leroy. You have to Leroy and then kill the Welves, or it would need more cards to support it. But it's a cool idea.
Psychic Scream.
Well, is the Fang powerful enough for you? To you, like?
I mean, win the game, so yeah.
I mean, 8 mana, hit the space, win the game. So yeah,
yeah, it's pretty nice. It's definitely pretty nice. Oh man, it'd be a shocker if you actually could arm this thing and then just it keeps freezing you over and over again. That would be frustrating. But no, cool idea, Raydown. Definitely great. And if you guys have any cards you want to send us for Mekkatorque's workshop, definitely do that at valuetown@chanmanv.tv, and we'll definitely read those out. So for deck of the week this week, guys, I think we're gonna give Tyler's Mage a run for it and try it out. We'll see how it does on ladder. Again, these decks are made
Not
for
doing
events.
good. I tested it already.
You did? You tested it? Oh,
you need
no.
a healing. Yeah, you face aggro decks. You
Oh
can't beat
yeah,
aggro
well.
decks.
okay. You just need to queue into a priest.
Just cute. There's a bunch of priests. I've been playing a crap load of priests, so I haven't played a paladin in a while, surprisingly. So I don't know. We should give it a try. We don't always have to play decks that are crazy, awesome winning percentages. It's just good to try some new things. And we're getting very like at the bottom of the barrel now that we're towards the end of an expansion. So we need something new to play, and this is gonna be pretty new. So I'll post that up on patreon.com/valuetown, of course, and anybody can partake, not just the patrons. All right, let's do some Q&A here, and we've got Ahmed, and of course, like just our regular. Are some classes harder to figure out in the meta? And this example is, does Hunter overperform in the beginning of the meta while Rogue takes time to figure out its best deck? You think that's a trend? Like, is there any class that's just you've kind of seen have a consistent trend of, okay, well, this meta is figured out really quickly because of, I don't know, it's just how simple it is generally, versus another class that tends to take some time to figure out?
I think the decks are generally better that play a proactive strategy than the decks that require to run tech cards, because it's very difficult to tech correctly for a meta, and you have to keep changing your deck list because the meta changes every few hours, or like hourly even, and your individual meta is different than what other people face, and it is different from server to server. So basically a spell hunter is generally better. Like when you're struggling with a meta, a deck like Spell Hunter is better, or Secret Mage that is not tagged is better because you have a proactive strategy. You have your barns that win you the game, and you don't play any tech cards. if you play Demon Lock, for instance, Control Lock, to get a high win rate with that is much harder, because you need to know, do I have to run Skulking Guys? Do you have to run Silence? How many Silence? What tech cards are the best? And it's very difficult to tech correctly, generally. So having like a solid list, this is why decks like Token Paladin, Youth Paladin, or Murloc Paladin are always coming back strong in certain metas, because it's pretty much the same list. You don't really attack them too much. It's usually just like a Spellbreaker or something, or 2 Spellbreaker, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, what I can add to that is that usually when it's a very new and fresh meta, like the first 1 or 2, 3 days, what happens is that the very aggressive decks, so like Spell Hunter and the easy to build decks, like any kind of aggro deck, Murloc Paladin, those are usually the strongest in the first few days, because generally people are just experimenting and playing bad decks themselves. So in that sense, those decks are easiest to figure out the first few days, because the builds are quite simple to figure out. But then after that, it's definitely what Gaara says. Yeah.
Another thing is you can actually trick people. This is I think a very new thing that I've seen people do is, for example, I face a lot of Zoo on ladder now. And we have seen a trend that even on HearthstoneReplay.net, a very cool website, by the way.
Yes, very, very cool website.
Definitely check that out. Is that Pirate Warrior became tier 1 on Legend, because everyone mulligans for Deadman's Hand Warrior. Yeah. This trend will not stay for a long time, because people adopt and they will, start mulligan against Pirate Warrior. But this is what people try to do. Everyone expects, like for you as well, like if you face a Warlock, you will just super mulligan, super greedy. Like you will keep weapon removal, you will keep like your super greedy cards, and then it's soon you get punished. This is really what people. This is why Priest is so hard to beat on the ladder, because it can be Spiteful Priest, can be Big Priest, or this is what also people are doing right now, trying to play different archetypes. Same goes for Mage. It could be Big Spell Mage or like Secret Mage. Very different mulligan against these two decks, and this is what people are trying to abuse. And this is also how you can increase your win rate, by the way. Just abuse like different things.
Right. Okay. Well, so it sounds like it's probably not like a hard trend or anything like that. So, just kind of have to see what's going on with the new cards.
Meta's complicated.
Yeah, meta's definitely complicated. One thing that we didn't talk about, which I totally forgot that it was like within this week, was just the new cards that they announced, right? Like that Iksar announced or Dean announced. And like the odd ones, like the odd only cards. And actually that's not it. Hold on, let me bring this up here. These 4 cards that he announced in that video. And we should talk about these. So we got Glittermoth, Gloomstag, Black Hat, and Merc's Merc's Spark Eel. And kind of want to get your opinions just first off, Tyler, because you weren't here for our discussion last week. How do you feel about this, odd only, even only type of decks that have, obviously a benefit of having that deck restriction?
I'm honestly a little bit sad, because it feels like they're forcing the archetypes on us. Like, we don't get much options for deck buildings. I feel like it's like you get 2 decisions. Either you choose, do I play odd or do I play even? And you have a certain amount of cards that you have to play because they're so strong, and then that's your deck. And then we probably end up, like when the expansion hits, we probably all end up like building the same type of decks with like maybe like 5 flex spots, 5 cost difference or something. That's how I feel like it will pan out. I could be wrong. Maybe they will print enough cards to support this archetype, but I feel like we're just like getting more and more pre-made decks in a way.
Yeah. And I think the pre-made decks isn't so bad as long as they're not crazy strong. Kind of like Cthulhu, right? I think Cthulhu is always the perfect example of a deck that was, it was very accessible. It was made for, they gave away free cards and stuff in terms of Cthulhu, yet the power level wasn't crazy, so it never ruled a meta and felt like Spiteful did. Or at least Spiteful had its run, right, like a few months ago. So yeah, I'm hoping it's not like that, but let's just take a look at these cards, because these are the first cards, I would say, outside of 1 or 2 of the ones that are initially announced that support this type of archetype. So or not archetype, but deck, restriction. So Glitter Moth is a epic 5 mana 4/4 beast battle cry. This is a priest card. If your deck has only odd cost cards, double the health of your other minions. So that's definitely a priest theme in doubling health, and I don't know if we need any more Divine Spirit type of things. But I guess this is an odd only, right? So this would replace Divine Spirit, right? So
yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think of this? I mean, that's essentially what it is, right? It just replaces it because Divine Spirit's an odd or an even card. So a little bit harder because it's more expensive. It's gonna be harder to pull off the combo.
Yeah, I don't think it would fit in a combo oriented deck. So it's more of a way to like capitalize on board control. Like you have a lot of minions on board, and you play this, and then you make all your minions more health. So it feels like it's gonna be more in a minion based deck rather than a combo deck. Because if I want to play the combo deck, I'd rather just pay 2 mana for my Divine Spirit and do it with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's quite the same.
In a priest too, like the hero power, because this whole odd thing, you're going to have to be hero powering a lot, like on the even turns. So the priest hero power is not good at all.
Yeah.
So this is going to be pretty rough, I think, playing an odd only type of priest. I don't know, Gar, can you think of any kind of priest that odd only that stands out to you right now?
No, I was about to say we don't have that archetype right now where this card fits in. Like you can't play it in a spiteful deck. You can't play it in a normal inner fire decks. It's not good. You would just play Divine Spirit instead. It's just so much better.
Yeah.
Like it's easier to fulfill the combo, and you can play way more cards. And the card itself is really bad as a standalone. 5 mana 4/4 is terrible. I think that they just wanted to give Priest the worst one. That's my opinion. The more gimmicky one. Like, because the other ones just seem significantly better. They really seem like OP.
Yeah. All right.
Like the downside of building your deck for such a card is just it's too big. I think it's more like a gimmicky thing.
Right. Well, speaking of the other cards, why don't we move on to the next one, which is a Druid card, 5 mana, 2/6 Beast, Taunt. And it's a Gloom Stack again. A battle cry. If your deck has an odd cost or has only odd cost cards, gain +2/+2. So this card is basically a 4/8, right? Because you're not building you're not going to be building anything else. So it's a 4/8 with taunt at 5 mana. So that's a pretty big taunt.
That's insane stats.
Yeah, that's crazy. So Druid possibilities for Druid then. There's definitely a lot more of 1 mana and 3 mana. 3 mana is not. Well, I don't know. What's that 3 mana now? Like Jade Blossom's gone, right? So
yeah, it's gonna be great. It will definitely be playable because with all the Jades rotating out, it's gonna be a completely different game.
They'll add a bunch of stuff. Yeah,
I think people will just those decks will be like sort of playable always, even if they're not like super crazy OP. I think you can always make them work. I think it's gonna be a lot more fun.
What do you get? How do you feel about the Justicar Druid hero power? Because I think that's going to be valid, right? When you're talking about odd cost, you're going to have to evaluate the hero powers. And how do you think that one ranks up?
It's very good. I'm a bit scared because they interfere with the DKs, and the DKs just seem better.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to not play Malfurion. The same goes, for example, in Control Mage. You do not want to not play Jaina. And it's only in Warrior, because the Warrior DK is like one of the weakest one. You can definitely make a Warrior deck without Garrosh, and we will see a lot of tank up turn 1.
Right.
Yeah. The Warrior is the one that's been talked most about, right? The most. Yeah.
That's because tank up is probably one of the historically best, or it was the best Justicar hero power. So, yeah, I mean, I think. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, and we don't have to play a 6 mana 6/3 for it, so
yeah,
it's even better than Justicar. Yeah,
you don't have to. Yeah, the draw RNG is a way. In the mirror, it came down to who drew Justicar. It was pretty lame. Now that you have it right from the start, it's actually better for the competitive scene. Much better. Like if we both play a Justicar Warrior deck, we both have the hero power from turn 1.
Oh, okay. Just from it's
a level
playing
huge
ground.
Deal.
Yeah, level playing ground. I thought you meant it's going to be great for for like the
No,
events
no.
and stuff. I'm like, I don't think those are gonna be exciting games to watch. Just like people with 50 and 60 armor again. Oh man. I mean, in the end, it's probably fun, much more fun to play than to watch. But yeah, I think we're probably headed that way. And
I personally think it's more fun to watch when every decision of the player matters and not draw RNG deciding the game. This is why I personally stopped watching a lot of these tournaments, because draw RNG is deciding so much in Hearthstone right now.
yeah,
And like,
yeah, I agree with that. It's just I think that it's like Raza Priest versus Raza Priest. Like I thought those were awesome matchups, but
Yeah,
I can't deny that the first 5-6 turns are so boring. Like in that matchup, right? They're like, I wish I could just skip the first 5-6 turns and not watch any of that, right? But so I think that's probably a similar case with whatever war is going to happen. And like Dean or Iksar was talking. One of the things on the video, which overall I thought was a really cool thing, and I think they should do more of it. But one of the things that they did for the first time was really show what they had in mind, right, when they were designing this card and testing this card, and they basically just revealed decks that you can possibly build. What did you think of that? Do you think it's a good idea for Blizzard to actually give deck ideas instead of just taking a step back and just letting it organically come together?
I personally think it's a great idea, because these decks will definitely not be like the best decks available in the game, but to give out some ideas. I'm still interested in the Unicorn Priest. They were like talking about like 2 years ago, whatever that was.
It's called Spiteful. It's the Spiteful Priest. No.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Definitely. I like it. Why not?
Yeah, I don't see the harm in it either.
Mm-hmm.
Like for a casual audience, like more casual players, it definitely helps a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then for like players like me who are like playing it competitively, it shouldn't change anything, because we end up trying to build decks that are way better than that anyways.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, I agree too. I think it sets a good frame, and it just makes them look better too when they're presenting cards. Like you just immediately have a discussion, and that's good. All right, the next one, the third one we have here is a Black Cat. So Unlucky Black Cat. 3 mana, 3/3 beast, spell damage +1, battle cry if your deck has odd cost cards, draw a card. All right, so you get, it's like Twilight Drake, basically.
Yeah, Azure Drake.
Azure, sorry, not Azure Drake, not Twilight Drake. Yeah, Azure Drake at 3, which is crazy. Like
it is
crazy good, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? Like Burn Mage? I mean, Burn Mage is missing all the burn, right? So
wait, is this a neutral card?
No, it's a Mage card.
No, it's a Mage card.
Oh, a Mage card.
It's a Mage card.
Yeah, my bad.
So no Frostbolts, no Fireball.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because this is really what Mage needs. It's a good card draw mechanic, and this is very good card draw mechanic. Yeah, it's pretty usually you wanna use spell power for cheaper spells in general to abuse the effect, to like combine the spell plus the spell power card. And if you don't play any 2 mana spells, so that's not like, you don't benefit from the spell power as much. But it's just the best card draw card in the game, I think, besides Ultimate Infestation, if you don't count that. It's just a super powerful card, and I think people will try to make it work. And it has the beast tag. I don't know if it will be relevant at all once Curator is gone.
Beast Mage. That would be pretty crazy. I mean, I generally agree, but there's a lot of cards they need to add. I mean, we're getting an expansion, but it's only 9 cards, and this is one of them. So probably like 8 or 7 or 8 cards from.
I just feel like that a lot of cards will see play now that are not seeing play right now because of the expansions that are still in the game. After these expansions rotate out, I think we will see way more cards being played from Kobolds and Catacombs and Lich King.
Like, what spell would be played with this card? Like odd and even, or just odd?
Spells?
Yeah, like is there a good 1 mana spell right now? Like 3 mana is obviously the secret, but so that doesn't.
1 mana spell was bad. Oh, for 3 mana it's like Volcanic Potions, right? You will probably
Volcanic Potion. That's true. Yeah.
Twice. Oh, if it's still in the game, I'm actually not sure.
Volcanic Potion's an Angora thing, right?
Oh
no, actually, it's not, right? It's actually I think it is gone. Volcanic Potion. Yeah, I was thinking it was
that's pretty
Volcano.
bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if Blizzard realizes like how important it is the spells from every expansion. They have like the by far the biggest impact on the state of the game and how fun the game is and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Way more than the minions, right? We always get like a bunch of minions and crazy minions even. And there's oftentimes so many crazy minions per slot that you can't even play them all, right? And usually we get very few very good spells, right? So if you get like, if Mage, for instance, gets bad spells in this expansion, you will not see this card being played just because you can't build a deck, right?
Right. Oh, actually, there's Breath of Sindragosa. Somebody mentioned that in chat. Yeah, Breath of Sindragosa could be really good with this card.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, but
it's not. Yeah.
It's not great, but it's still. You know, it's
maybe it's
something.
gonna be playable, right? Yeah, because you combine it and then you take out something. It could be, yeah, for sure. Depends on the meta, right?
Yeah. So I think that you might be right about that. This card might not be strong in the first expansion, but maybe after 2 expansions, there'll be plenty to support.
Maybe Mage gets Psychic Scream.
Yeah, it's a cute card though. I like the animation. That the drawing looks a little bit different than like the.
No, it's a good card.
Yeah.
No, it's that's what it comes down to. The card itself is really good.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you the incentive to make it work.
Yeah. Okay, the last one we got here is a Shaman card, 2 mana, Merkspark Eel, rare card, and it's a 2/3 beast. Battle Cry. Oh, one thing I didn't even realize this, but all of them are beasts, right? If your deck has only even cost cards, deal 2 damage. So wow, okay. So again, another really good card, but you have the restriction.
Finally, a good Shaman card.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah,
can't remember the last time Shaman got like a good card.
Yeah,
especially for 2 mana.
So you have to give up your 1s. There's not many 1-drops to begin with, but there are 1 spells that you have to give up. So no more evolves, right?
The 3 mana slot was usually extremely stacked for Shaman though.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
like
this
Mana Tides, Lightning Storms, Stonehill Defenders, all the heal cards, Tar Creepers. Mm-hmm. You can't play any of those. But Lightning Storm sucks anyways. It's like my most hated card in the entire game. Because you have to play it in Shaman, but you always hate it after you played it.
Are people still playing Lightning Storm, really? Like
you have
like,
to.
I think people play just Volcano these days over it.
The Dude Paladin or Merc Paladin, they refill the board like 20,000 times.
They do, but it's like if all you're doing is playing removal cards, it's like you're not doing anything either. So it's pretty rough. All right. Well, what are your thoughts on it, Tyler? Like, what do you think about this Eel card?
Like, on its own, it's very strong, right? Obviously, it's overstated for all of these odd even cards, but yeah, it needs to have the right cards to support it. I don't think right now there's enough cards to justify building a deck around a 2 mana 2/3 deal 2 damage to stay Shaman, because Shaman is by far the worst deck right now. It's insanely bad.
And also, there's no archetype we would play it in. If this was an elemental, then maybe like an elemental Shaman. But right now we will have a base of freeze Shaman and like some elemental remains. Jades will be gone. So what kind of Shaman?
Well, you know what's also weird about the even cost card restriction is that, I mentioned before with the odd cost, at least you can use hero power, right? With and it matches up, it uses all your mana, right? You would have to be wasting mana, but you're going to use your hero power on odds, so it's not even like a very good use of your mana in terms of the even ones. So
yeah. You can fill out the curve with the uneven much easier. On 4 you play 1 and 3.
Yeah.
On 5 you play, and so forth.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow, guys, is this why they nerfed Hex?
I saw that.
It makes all sense now.
This is why they are nerfed Hex.
Hex died for this.
Oh god, that's hilarious. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? What do you think about the Shaman hero power? The Shaman hero power for Justicar is just choosing a custom one, right?
It's by far the worst one.
God, they should have just why can't you just cast 2 totems? That would have been so much better.
It's just Blizzard hates Shaman. I don't know.
They hate Shaman.
First, Justica hero power, like worst just standard hero power, worst cards in general.
2 years, you gotta be 2 years of hell, but before you work.
Gonna wait another 2 years, and then Shaman is great again. It's
the Shaman Overlord era. We're still paying for.
Wait, can this go face? This can go face,
yeah,
right? But
we
we
can.
can't play Doomhammer. Feels bad, man.
Yeah.
And no Leroy.
Yeah, Tepetu actually asked in chat, do you guys think coin RNG will be more important with these odd and even stuff? That's a good point. Coin's going to be really important, right? Like,
Yeah.
you definitely want coin if you're playing these decks. No question.
Yes, it's actually going to be pretty annoying. Yeah, curious to see how that will pan out. But that's a good point, actually. Really good point.
Yeah. I think that yeah, I'm just hoping they're not too strong. As long as these decks aren't too strong, we won't have curve. It's not even curves, it's like odd curve, even curve stone. Be funny.
I mean, like from my experience, like the thing with these types of decks is they don't want it to be too strong, and then there always ends up being like one deck that ends up like they end up missing, and
yeah.
yeah, and then it ends up being really strong and everyone abuses it. Because
Okay.
it's very hard for Blizzard to test all of these decks, right? And like figure out the entire meta and everything.
Yeah, we're talking
And
3-4 people versus hundreds of thousands of people coming up with ideas. So
yeah.
hundreds of thousands of people usually figure out ways to abuse things that they didn't. Okay, we got one more question. See, Doom 1491. What do you think of a rotation mode where every month, except for after new expansion release, the available sets change? I think it would provide a cool deck building challenge and could highlight cards which were not even good enough for standard or wild and were too fancy for arena synergy. Each rotation should include 3 expansions, classic, or 4 if 2 adventure bases are in it. Okay, so yeah, what do you think? I mean, I guess it would be a game mode, right? That you could just have rotating expansions, or maybe there's only like 3 expansions available to you, and they change it like each I don't know, each season, maybe HCT season or something like that. I think Magic does something like this, right? Or they have like a mode that's kind of like this. I don't know if you guys are Magic players or not, but I think we've maybe talked about this a little bit in the past. I don't know. You guys like this idea? I mean, changing cards like to that extent, like basically huge rotation.
I think there's a lot of people that just like to have one deck and then practice it and master a deck.
Yeah.
And if that happens too, like you said, it should be like a different game mode. It shouldn't be in standard.
Yeah.
I think it's too fast. I think what we have right now is like pretty good with the yearly cycles. And people can get used to some decks and actually learn some decks, because some decks are actually very difficult to master. And if it's every month, it's just Clown Fiesta.
Yeah, every month is too short for sure. Like, it's hard to even.
Yeah, I also think every month is too short. But I do think though is that right now the cycles feel a little bit too slow for me personally. The meta gets near the end, it gets very stale, and we end up playing the same stuff over and over. So for me personally, I think more change is always good. That's why, for example, just the nerfs happening last month, I think was really good for the meta. Like patches being nerfed, like it changes the meta completely. So I think there should be more frequent change. I don't know in what form, but I feel like if we have like changes more often, then that renews the meta more often rather than playing the same decks over and over again for like a period of 3 months. I think that's a little bit too long.
Would you have would you have liked to have seen the reset happen like right now, like mid-March, and then the expansion comes out mid-April, just hypothetically speaking? Or
no, I think that would be like too much.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think the way we have 3-month cycles, I think that's a little bit too slow also.
I think right now we have a huge balancing issue still. I think it's worse than ever before. Like, for example, Priest and Warlock are so much better. The power level of Priest and Warlock are so much above the other 7 classes. It's ridiculous. Like, you can do this when you do tournament preparations. Like Tyler said, you expected every single player to have Priest and Warlock. And then every single player had Priest and Warlock. It's like so predictable because it's nowhere close, the power level of the class. Like, you can have like 4 different tier 1 Priest decks and 2 different, like, or even 3 different Warlock tier 1 decks, and every other class is so much worse. Tournaments right now are about finding the best 3rd and 4th deck. I think this is what decides the winner of the tournament. Like, who is the best bad deck?
Yeah, I agree with that, and I mean, current state of it is that way, but it wasn't that long ago. I mean, for Warlock, I would say even an expansion ago, Warlock was in bad shape. Yes. I mean, we like barely could play Zoo, right? And it was just one expansion has turned them into a powerhouse with just the cube, and control lock. And then priests, we've seen this, right? We've seen this building up of priests for 3 expansions now. And now I think we're just seeing like the product of that. So what I'm trying to get at is that it can change in one expansion. Like I think they could make shaman, even shaman, I think they could make powerful if they wanted to, just with one swoop. So I'm a little bit worried, but I'm not quite as concerned, just given what I saw happen to Warlock. And most people thought Warlock, like discard Warlock, was going to be the way to go, right? Like it was going to be the quest that was going to make Warlock good, and it didn't even go that direction at all. Cube came out and all this craziness, so that gives me confidence in them.
We always had like the best decks in the game, but I feel like the bad decks were just closer in power level, and that made the game so much more fun. People were always playing like fun decks. This is why people like this classic Hearthstone, whatever. It's just like, for example, Combo Druid and Miracle Rogue were like the best decks, but you still had like Control Paladin or Control Priest or whatever. They were not like that much weaker. You could still beat these decks. And right now, if you play Control Shaman, you really notice you just get destroyed by like Control Lock or whatever. Because the power level is just so. It's like I'm playing a different game.
But the power level can change if they just add a win condition that all of a sudden synergizes with, like that's what Shaman's missing. They're just missing a win condition that synergizes really, really well with what they currently have. So if they did something like that, then all of a sudden we'd see something. Hunter, right? Like all of us were complaining how crappy Hunter was, and all of a sudden, who knew that the what we thought was a meme was actually something that was going to work out in the long run for Spell Hunter. Actually be a legitimate deck. So, I think that it can change. It might be harder to change whenever you're resetting a bunch of cards, but I think that we're not going to see any change in Warlock. I think Warlock's still going to be crazy powerful after the reset. But Priest, we'll see a significant decline to Priest. I mean, a lot of the stuff that's good, and like Operative's gone, right? I mean, that's like a big component out of a lot of those decks, and even Big Priest. Like Big Priest is going to be missing a few things too now. So, Priest will take a little bit of a hit.
Yeah,
we'll have to see what happens. So there was something earlier I was mentioning. I kind of wanted to circle back, and I was talking about the arena change and how I didn't really get a chance to look at the stats. Well, anyways, I just kind of pulled it up real quick on HS Replay, and you can see Lich King is at 3.3% now. So they've like lowered it by a third as to like how it shows up. So that's pretty significant. But you'll notice that Stonehill Defenders are the same though. So if you still want Lich King, just get Stonehill Defenders. Just drop Stonehill Defenders, and you're still gonna get your Lich King. So. But anyways, that's kind of something that we saw change with the hotfix there. And Andre FZR asks in chat, why do you think Blizzard doesn't consider buffing other cards to balance the meta, only choose to nerf cards to unplayable once in a while?
But actually answered that question in the video.
Right. Ben, let me see, where is it? Here we go. So Ben answers it here. He said they asked him basically why nerfs instead of buffs, and he said that putting all cards into a playable state is not the goal. Some cards are intentionally bad, but we also like printing cards later on that make previously bad cards better. For example, Mysterious Challenger suddenly made Secret Paladin amazing. So it kind of leads back to there's just a lot of new ideas that they don't feel like they need to circle back and buff any existing ones. I guess that's
it's just impossible, right? To like print cards that are all going to be playable. That's just never going to happen. At the end of the day, players are going to figure out which are the 30 best cards to play in a deck anyways. So if you're going to print 200 cards or whatever, it's impossible to make 200 cards all highly competitively viable in all decks. Like that's just not going to happen.
Would that actually be a good thing too? I mean, I guess
I don't think so.
Probably not, right? Like, imagine what how we would feel about pay to win, just how much money it would cost to play Hearthstone if we felt like we had to have every single card to actually compete. That would be a bad thing.
And they're all epics and legends.
Yeah, you're right. If they're all rare, epic, and legend, level, power level, that would be awful. So, can't blame them, for that. But I think that there will be a time in somewhere down the road that they'll feel like they'll need to change. Like they run out of good ideas, and you kind of try to build off of what's currently there. All right, well, I think that's all the questions. I think that it might be a good time right now to give a shout out, at least let folks know that if you want to support Valuetown, you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Valuetown, and if you make a pledge, it really helps out in helping us continue the show, support, any of the things that we want to do with the show or improve the show. So, if you enjoy it, definitely consider, making a pledge today, because it would be amazing. And I want to give a shout out to just a few of the patrons, like we always do, for just how much appreciation we have for them. Mike T, our legendary producer, as always. And then Dave C, Devin Y, Engine S, Zhang C, Old Man Riv, Johnson C, Grant A, Louise L, Mike V, Zach M, Evie, David A, Nicholas H. Thank you so much for, just being patrons. A lot of these guys have been patrons for a long time, so you guys are amazing. But that's going to be it, guys. I think we blew through these topics. Man, Tyler, it's like always a blast to have you on, and, I can't wait to see you at HCT Oslo. It's time to win, dude. It's time to win with style, man. We need somebody to do that. So, good luck this weekend. But you got any shout-outs you want to do before you take off?
Well, thank you for my team, of course, Complexity, for sending me to all these events this year. Get to compete a lot. That's cool. And of course, shout out to you for having me here. I like talking about Hearthstone. You know that I am very competitive player, so that's all I talk about. And this was cool. And shout out to Gaara. It was fun talking to you as well.
Love you, Tyler.
Love you too, man. Kappa Pride.
Yes, Kappa Pride. Gaara, you got any shout outs you want to do?
Shout out to my Twitter @TempoGaara, on my stream, twitch.tv/GaaraBestShaman. Maybe gonna rename it this year. I don't know yet. At least remove the best shaman.
Give it one more expansion. Maybe shaman. We'll make it.
Come on, it's like gonna rename it like every year. See what Blizzard does.
Yeah.
Shout out to the viewers. Love you all. Kappa Pride. And shout outs to Impact. I did a lot of playtesting with him for Oslo. So he's playing like a lot of decks that I'm suggesting. So I'm really curious. To see how he's gonna do. A lot of good players are gonna go. Strife Ghost is going as well. I haven't seen him like compete, I think, at any of the tours or like at any tournament in a long time, right?
It's definitely been a while, yeah.
It's gonna be a stacked tournament as always. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and now are very exciting times coming up. The very first prelims, in May. It's like good times, like competitive wise.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, definitely exciting times. And I'll round things out. My shout out to you two for doing the show, and everybody for watching. You guys are always awesome. You can find our show on iTunes and Google Play if you want to listen to it on the way to work. SoundCloud too, at soundcloud.com/ChanManV. Just look up Valuetown or look up Hearthstone. You'll find us. If you like the show, go leave us a 5-star review, comment. It always helps out people finding, looking for a Hearthstone podcast. Also, I want to give a shout out to, or just let you guys know that HS Replay, we released collection uploading today. So collection syncing, whatever you guys want to call it. Now you can actually, through HCT, you can set up just the ability just to have your collections just automatically synced with the site. So, if you go to the site right now, you'll see this banner, and it'll definitely give you some instructions on how to do it. And once you got it set up, you can actually, just basically limit it to your collection. It doesn't look great right now because my browser is like tiny here, but you can actually see the listing of all the sites and what you can build, and the ones that you need dust for. So a lot of folks have been asking for that for a long time, and we're like happy to finally be able to build it and put it in the site. So we're really excited about it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it too, and let us know if you got any feedback about it. But that's going to be it, guys. Oh, also, you can find the VODs at youtube.com/HSReplay, as HSReplayNet, as well as youtube.com/ChanManV. So right now we're kind of doing on both for now, and eventually we'll probably switch all the way over. But that's going to be it, guys, for Valuetown this week. So for Tyler, Gaara, and myself, ChanManV, we'll see you next week.
Peace.